Hey everybody. Um, this should be the FMS video. So what I'm going to do is there are in the FMS section of the content, there are several things to look at. First thing you're going to be able to see. Oh, is this working? Yes. First thing you're going to be able to see is going to be an FMS part 1, a part 2, and then each of the 7 exercises as separate videos. It's a pretty big file to download and content to be able to see. So let's see what we've got. I am going to start the slideshow. So the FMS allows us to look at the body and movement. It takes into account the fact that we are dynamic, kind of accommodate to whatever our circumstances, whatever our surface, whatever our task is. It's a way to look at the change in the body position and the stability through those changes. The FMS has been around for a long time, 20 years ago, probably closer to 25 at this point. So what we're really looking at is our movement and our motor control through that movement. We're going to look at 7 tests. They are black and white. They're universal. They are scored the same. I always tell clients and patients when we're doing it, I have no emotional stake in their outcome. We always want to be better. We want to be the best. But there's very specific criteria for each test and each score. There's no gray. This is not meant to be open to any sort of interpretation. It is a screen. We're looking at injury prevention by being competent with our movement to be able to do a task. That being said, we're not supposed to use this for diagnosis, and none of you are qualified to treat it. It's just meant to be a screen, and if there is an issue, then we get them to the person they're supposed to be to. We have 7 motions, 7 movement patterns. They are scored 0 to 3. Anything that is painful or that they're unable to do is an automatic 0 and a referral out, whether that be PT, chiropractic, MD. Either way, they're leaving. The maximum score you can get is a 21. It's not going to be it. You're going to want to be a 21 and it's never going to happen. We want a score of 14. 14 gives us a 2 on everything, makes us competent for task. A lot of universities and colleges will use this as a screen to participate in sports. When I went to this conference, I did it for a midlife crisis, so I went out to San Francisco to take this particular class, even though it was offered a lot of other places closer. A lot of the West Coast schools, there are a lot of college trainers that were there. They use it as a borderline score. Every athlete reporting to camp does the score. If you're under 14, you are not clear to participate. And they're really using it as a means to ensure that you're in the best possible position and condition before you start. When we look at this, we're going to look at mobility restrictions first, then control, then go after the functional patterning. So it's one of those things where how can we clean up and make people able to do it? So this is the deep squat. There are very specific criteria to allow this to happen. Okay, here we go. So this is my daughter. So many things. Very rarely are you going to see a good 3, just to be clear. Take All right, you're going to find most people are good athlete wise when we take out the slack of the posterior chain. As soon as we come back into that heel raise position, the ease of movement is significantly better. All right, so that was our squat. Hurdle step. What we're going to do, and we're going to go through a video here that shows you those bars, and the hurdle is set up to tib tuberosity height. So every person, we're going to put the stick that's behind him has markers on it. So it's a measuring stick as well. So we'll stand there and figure out what the tibiotuberosity height is, and then we can set the bar to each individual height. I'll try not to talk over the video, and then we'll chat about what I missed. It's harder than you think. See the hitchy? You see how much it deviates laterally. So you can see the hitchy. Is it because she has a functional limitation, or is it a movement pattern? And again, you're looking at giving people 3 attempts, and we'll take their best score. But if we keep doing that, they're going to get more efficient with movement, and we don't want the training effect. All right, so our inline lunge. This is the most complicated because it has the most rules per se. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do lunge. So this has the most complicated when you're going to stand on the board, right foot, right up to the 0 line, and it has to be straight with the board. It should be ankle down at your feet. So you can't twist on your foot. Okay. You're going to hold this for balance. You're going to step forward and put the heel of your other foot at the 15. Remember, that was her tibial height. The center of the board. Right up to the 15. Yes, you can. Okay. Now put your whole foot in. Okay. Now, once they have their balance, because that's sometimes a little tricky, I'm going to take this behind. Okay. I want you to reach down. And then up. Your neck. They have to maintain 3 points of contact: head, shoulders, butt. If the bar pulls away from any of those, we're going to end up dropping the score. Okay. What you need to do is keep your feet in the center of the board. I need you to descend into a lunge as far as you can. The back heel can come up. I need you to touch your right knee behind your left foot in the center of the board. Harder than it looks because you want to get centered in the board. Turn back up. Good. We're going to do it one more time. That back foot is twisting. So your heel needs to come towards us. 3 points of contact. Your butt's not touching. There you go. Try again. Keeping the bar with against your butt, head, and shoulders. Nice job. That was a 3. Go ahead and come out of it. Give me a 3 for the right leg. Now, the bar down. We have to switch. So use it for balance again to set up. Yep. 15. You'll find a lot of people twist their foot. Work it into the middle. Good. Now, switch the bar back behind again. Yeah, head has to touch. Back has to touch. Butt has to touch. You're going to try and touch your knee in the center of the board and stand back up. Yep. And back up. I want you to try that again. Your knee didn't really touch in the center of the board. Head. Good. And come on back up. One more time. That was in the center of the board, but she lost contact with the pole of your butt. So on the left side, she's going to be a 2. So best attempt was the 2. However, and on the left, on the right was a 3. So we'll take her best, but if we were looking at a gross score, we're going to take the least number. So best attempt, but if we're looking at bilateral, it'll be the lower number. So far she's been a 2 for the squat, she's been a 2 for the hurdle step, and she's been a 2 for the lunge. Go ahead. All right, so if you caught all of that, we'll give you 3 attempts to get your best score. But when we actually score it, we'll score a gross, meaning we'll combine left and right. So that's where she ends up being a 2 overall. Shoulder mobility. Easier one to keep track of. All right. So first thing we're going to do is clearing test. I want you to put the right hand on your left shoulder. This is just looking for a straight impingement.
Test to rule it out. What we're going to do is go ahead and extend your hand for me. All right, she is 6.5. I need you to make a fist, both sides. What you're going to do when I tell you is wrap your hands like that as far as you can, right? We're going to do it so that the right hand goes low first, but turn around and face the other way. Okay, go ahead. Yep, and try and make them clench. Close as you can get, but keep them in the fist. Good. And then come back down. I want you to do the same thing, only this time I don't want you to walk it up. I want you to just try and get as far as you can without
Smooth
inching up.
motion.
So she is within 6.5. She's going to be a 3 on the right. Go ahead and switch. Yeah. So clearly she's within the same. So she is a 3 on both sides. If she missed by 1.5 the times of her length, so right around 10 inches, then she would be a 2. And if she was more than that, she would end up being a 1. We would send her back for clearance if she was a positive impingement. Safe start.
All right. So that is going to be the first 4. This is a pretty big file, so now I need to open up the second PowerPoint. I'm sure as you went to download, you could see how big they were, which is why I want to move it to this. So we just looked at shoulder mobility. Now we're going to look at lower leg mobility and the hamstring length. So this is going to be the active straight leg test. Let me find a stupid mouse somewhere. So I don't know what's happening to this thing. I'm so sorry. Here we go. All right, so active straight leg raise. If we look at her. Oh, I'm quiet. All right. I'm not sure that voiceover is going to be the best thing we've got. Something is happening here that I can't see my whole life. All right, so hold on. Haha, it's because somehow I didn't start the new share, so you aren't seeing what I'm doing. All right, so clearly it's 100% user error. So here we go. We're going to look at the active straight leg raise. I'm pretty sure you can see things now, so sorry. We can see how clearly techie I am. I'm going to hit play on this one. I think I'm going to turn down the volume, see if you guys can hear me better. So straight leg raise, you need to keep everything in contact with the board. All right. You need your legs to touch each other. You need your palms to be down. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the distance between their knee and their thigh at the midway point. All right. So when we find that midway point, we're going to use our bar to keep track. All right. So when we ask her, keeping everything in line, everything together, and good contact, we're looking for malleolar positioning in relation to the bar. All right, she's able to keep everything really straight there, and she's able to get up past and clear the upright. So she's going to be a 3 on that left side, really pretty easily because she makes good contact. All right, and then we're going to shift and do the same thing on the other side. And again, she's keeping everything else still, and she's able to clear the bar with that. Well, that was a worse attempt, but that is going to give us a good idea if when the bar is there, they are between their knee and the foot, then they're going to be a 2. And if they can't quite get the knee past, that's when they're going to move down to a 1. Trunk stability. We have to do a clearing test for this one. And the clearing test is a press up. So this is like a yoga move, Cobra. And we're looking again for any pain. Any pain is going to get us a 1, and we're going to be a 0 and a referral. So for females, what she's going to do is she's going to stretch out here. She is going to bring her hands down. My narration isn't right in line because we did this a while ago. To her chin. You can see how she wants to cheat because she's weak. So for gentlemen, they're going to bring their thumbs down in line with their forehead. All right, so in this position, when she has her hands there, she's going to tuck her toes underneath, pop her knees up, and in one smooth motion, she's supposed to push herself straight up off the ground. So you're thinking, so you're already starting to cheat because she wants to bring those hands down because she knows. So you saw that happen in so many stages, right? We could give her a ton of attempts here. She is not going to improve. I taped this video right at the beginning of the pandemic, and I can 100% tell you she probably is no better than she was then. So you can see she's automatically trying to bring those hands down more. And you can see the multiple stages there for her to try and raise it up. She is wildly unsuccessful. All right, we're not going to watch her next attempt because she's not going to get any better. This is one of the twins. She tried from her chin for the 3. So she's now moved to shoulder blades. And you can see that she just locks it in and is able to come straight up. So she is a 2, whereas Elle, even when their hands come down further biased, she never scored above a 1. Okay. This one is the hardest one. I've seen pictures and videos of a 3. I've never in my life seen it in real life. It's hard. So what we're looking at here is we're going to be in quadruped over top of the bar. So for a 3 in this position, you're going to try and make your hands, your thumbs touch the board, your knees touch the board, and your feet touch the board. You can't lose contact with the board and any of those motions. For a 3, what you would do is you would do the same side. Fully extend your arm in front of you, your leg behind you. You would touch your elbow to your knee over top of the board and then return all the way out straight before coming back to this resting position. You can't lose contact with the board to do that. In the video, I've asked her to go ahead and try for a 3. You can see how she's like hardly moved, right? And that is exactly what will happen to you when you get there. You just can't even figure out what to do for that rotary stability. So to move to a 2 position, you're going to do exactly what I talked about. Full extension of the arm and leg, touching the elbow to the knee over top of the board, returning out straight and coming back down while not losing contact with the board. But in this instance, you will do opposite arm, opposite leg. All right, elbow to knee over top of the board, return out straight and back down. From this position, dear God, it was 2 years ago we did it. I don't think she lost contact with the board, but if I have her redoing it, it might be because she did. So we're looking for her right knee and ankle to stay in line where it's supposed to. Now we're going to do the opposite. Back in. Again, some of these things have so many things to think about. You really do need at least the first 2 attempts to understand exactly what your directions were. So she knew she lost contact with the board. Back out straight and down. So to be a 1, you're not going to be able to do any of those things. It's going to be the maintaining of positioning. All right, so on her, again, raw score for the squat was the same. Our hurdle step, our inline lunge, she was better on the right than the left, but she's going to be a gross 2. Shoulder mobility, she was good. And the active straight leg raise, I was standing there, she must not have gotten past the malleoli pass, but the bar, but on the video, I couldn't tell that. Trunk stability, her press up was terrible, so she was a 1. And her rotary stability, she was a 2 on each side. So that gives her a total score of 14. But if we were looking at her, she clearly needs to do a little bit more core engagement work. And she's got good shoulder mobility. But the thing that we would really look at here for her is there inconsistency left to right? Are we a 3 on the inline lunge on the right, but we're a 1 on the left? And are we seeing that the active straight leg raise, we're a 3 on one side and a 1 on the other? Those kind of differences side to side would set you up for some failure in the system when it came to sport and activity. So things we're looking at. Optimal movement should lead to improved performance. Training should be more effective. That website is going to be functionalmovement.com. You have to take a certification test after a course. I believe last time I checked, you could still do it online. It's about 4 hours. Again, it's a nice tool depending on what practice you're in. I do this a lot on my high school athletes to ensure that they're ready for return to activity. All right. I'm sorry. I can't even get anything shut up. Anyway, watch the individual videos if you want to. And I hope the quality of this was enough that we were able to get through it. Class on Friday, I'll bring the board and we'll do it there.